more strategic way to reopen the country's economy. Tambe directs the Center for Research in Computation and Society at Harvard's School of Engineering. So the notion of the lockdown as we've been practicing it pretty much coast to coast, although now, as you know, some states are opening up, including here in parts of California. Are we not doing it the right way? Is there a better way to do this?
So we, first of all, thank you for having me here on this program. Wanted to just say a bit about how we went ahead simulating these scenarios using our model. What we have is what's called an agent-based model, where we simulate different individuals in a population, and census data and other surveys tell us the relative ages of the people in the population, their household structure, and then we simulate this person, all these individual people going to work, having contact, which is determined by their contact matrix, which is a contact pattern that they may have inside of the household and in their workplace. So now we can simulate different scenarios where we can have hybrid policies, where we can shelter in a targeted way a part of the population, for example, ages 30 to 49 in the simulation, and physical distancing by the rest. And what we find is that, obviously if we lock down everybody all the time, that would reduce the number of deaths. But, that we understand, obviously, is not where we want to be. So what we have is population-wide, instead of population-wide shelter in place, if we have targeted sheltering of specific age groups and physical distancing by the rest of the population, by staggered work schedules, spacing in restaurants, prescribed times for grocery stores, and so on and so forth, then that may also achieve, significant reduction in the number of infections and deaths.
Okay, so you're saying basically to try and sum this up is you think that if we target the 30 to 50, that group that you mentioned, and they shelter in place more than the rest of the population, you can get similar results to a more widespread kind of lockdown. And why is that? Is it because they are going all sorts of places, they've got kids, they've got jobs, they've got a bigger social circle than other groups?
Exactly. So, however, we've simulated different sets of populations in different parts of the world, and there has to be tailoring. So it's not one size fits all. So in the one of the populations we tried, let's say 30 to 49 was the right group to shelter in place, and we're not saying all of them, so 50% of that population, but in other parts of the country, other parts of the world, there may be different groups that need to be sheltered in place. So it would need to be tailored, and obviously modeling only gives a part of the answer. And in order to truly allow us to relax these assumptions, relax the lockdowns and so forth, we would need more testing.
So then the inverse would hold true, right? If you're telling, sort of senior citizens to shelter in place, but you're letting people from, what was the group, 30 to roughly 49, allowing them to go out and do what they do, work, socialize, and all that, that would only then continue the spread of the virus, right?
Right. By the same logic, in one of the populations we did the simulation was in the early part in Lombardy, where indeed that would be the case, that the sheltering in place of just a 70-plus, let's say, population doesn't have as much impact in containing the number of infections. Obviously, that particular part of the population is then unjustly, if you will, if you put 100% of that age group inside of lockdown, that's unjust in some ways to just have that one population. But instead, the idea here is to have a more everybody be more responsible rather than just placing the burden on exactly one part of the population, especially the 70-plus-year-olds.
All right, Tambe directs the Center for Research, Computation and Society, Harvard's School of Engineering. Thanks.